All right, so if you want to pursue commercial photography or to be more specific, product photography as a career, then this video is for you. I'm going to share everything from the best options to learn commercial photography, the way you can manage your finances in this career, and the biggest opportunity right now for commercial photographers as of 2025, right? And basically, I'm going to share my entire experience of working as a high end commercial photographer for the past, let's say, 15 years, where I have worked for all sorts of projects, right from shooting the big ad campaigns for global brands, for shooting, social media content and e-commerce for, even the startup boutique brands, right? And this is the kind of work I do. To be more specific, I specialize in shooting cosmetics and drinks, and I've been doing this for a long time. So the idea here is to give you all the information that I have so that you can make your decision whether you want to pursue this career or not, right? Now, before we get into that, let me tell you that if you are really passionate about photography, then this is going to be a very rewarding and satisfying career. But do keep this in mind that it is one of the most challenging fields, and a field that requires a lot of hard work, right? Now, having said that, let's understand the options available for you to learn high end commercial photography, ठीक है? तो सबसे पहला ऑप्शन जो है वो डेफिनेटली है फोटोग्राफी स्कूल, राइट? नाउ इफ यू डिसाइड टू गो टू अ फोटोग्राफी स्कूल, अगेन देयर आर प्रोज एंड कॉन्स फॉर एवरी सिंगल ऑप्शन. फोटोग्राफी स्कूल की सबसे अच्छी बात यह है कि यू गेट टू लर्न एवरीथिंग इन अ वेरी सिस्टमैटिक एंड ऑर्गेनाइज वे. तो आपका जो फाउंडेशन होगा वो बहुत स्ट्रांग होगा. यू वुड नो ऑल दी टेक्निकल टर्म्स एंड jargons involved in advertising and commercial shoots. यू विल गेट टू बिल्ड अ नेटवर्क. आपके जो कलीग्स हैं, बैचमेट्स हैं, तो आपका एक नेटवर्क बन जाएगा फोटोग्राफी इंडस्ट्री में, राइट? नाउ इमेजिन इफ यू डोंट गो टू अ फोटोग्राफी स्कूल और यू आर नॉट असिस्टिंग एनी फोटोग्राफर, इफ यू आर ऑन योर ओन, तो उस केस में आपके पास ये एक नेटवर्क नहीं होता है जहाँ पे यू कैन टॉक टू अदर फोटोग्राफर्स एंड अदर क्रिएटिव फ्रॉम द सेम इंडस्ट्री, राइट? अ वेरी बिग प्लस पॉइंट. Now, another thing is, when you are going to a photography school, आपके बैच में जो बाकी लोग होंगे, ये ज़रूरी नहीं है कि everybody would end up becoming a photographer, because there are so many different jobs involved in a commercial shoot. Like, there's a digitech, there's a stylist, producer, rep, set builder, set designers. बहुत सारे roles होते हैं commercial shoot में. सो हो सकता है कि कुछ लोगों को ऐसा लगे कि कमर्शियल फोटोग्राफी इज नॉट फॉर देम, बट दे आर मोर सूटेड फॉर अ सर्टन काइंड ऑफ रोल विच इज समथिंग एल्स अपार्ट फ्रॉम कमर्शियल फोटोग्राफी, राइट? सो इन दिस केस यू हैव अ नेटवर्क ऑफ क्रिएटिव्स. सो आगे जाकर के अगर आप कमर्शियल शूट करते हो, फोटोग्राफी कर रहे हो, तो यू नो पीपल हु आर डूइंग ऑल सॉर्ट्स ऑफ जॉब्स एंड हु आर देयर इन योर नेटवर्क. सो फोटोग्राफी स्कूल का एक मेरे को डिसएडवांटेज ये लगता है कि although you will have all the bookish knowledge, you will have a very sound solid technical knowledge of photography, but you might miss out on the business side of it, right? जिस पे हम चलते हैं अब सेकेंड पार्ट पे, विच इज़ असिस्टिंग अ फोटोग्राफर और असिस्टिंग अ कमर्शियल फोटोग्राफर हु इज़ डूइंग दी सिमिलर काइंड ऑफ वर्क दैट यू आर इंटरेस्टेड इन, राइट? सो इन दिस केस अगर आप असिस्ट कर रहे हो एक फोटोग्राफर को, तो यहाँ पर क्या हो रहा है कि आपको ऑन द गो एक रियल वर्ल्ड, रियल एनवायरनमेंट, एक रियल शूट की सारी इन्फॉर्मेशन मिल रही है, ठीक है? कि जब एक रियल कमर्शियल शूट होता है तो उसमें क्या क्या चैलेंजेस इन्वॉल्व होते हैं, किस तरह से फोटोग्राफर वो पूरा शूट मैनेज कर रहा है, हाउ ही और शी इज़ टॉकिंग टू द क्लाइंट, हाउ द फोटोग्राफर इज़ मैनेजिंग द टीम, किस तरह से वो जो चैलेंजेस आ रहे हैं उन्हें कैसे सॉल्व कर रहे हैं. बिकॉज क्या होता है कि doesn't matter whatever shoot it is, every single shoot will have some curveballs, will have some problems along the way. So immediately जब कोई issue होता है set पे during the shoot, उसे कैसे handle किया जाता है, ठीक है, उससे पहले marketing कैसे करते हैं. For example, what is how do photographers create an estimate, what is a PO, how do they pitch for work, how do they approach these brands and clients, how do they approach these agencies, उनकी body language क्या है, किस तरह से वो बात कर रहे हैं, किस तरह से treat कर रहे हैं बाकी लोगों को, किस तरह से set पूरा संभाल रहे हैं during the shoot, right? So you get to learn a lot of things when you're assisting a photographer in the real world, right? Now, in this case, you might not have the same solid foundation, that you learn in a photography school, but you get to learn everything that's happening in the real world, right? So this is a big advantage here. And also, if you assist a couple of different photographers, you will get to learn, different styles of, how different photographers work and handle their shoots, right? So इसका एक ये बहुत बड़ा advantage है. Now let's come to the third option, which is where you decide to learn everything on your own, right? And on your own, and this what I mean is that you learn everything from the information which is available online. और आज की डेट में बहुत information available है, on YouTube, on online workshops, so much is available there. So you can really learn the tricks of commercial photography and a little bit of business side as well, right? And this is what I did, right? So I did not go to a photography school. I did not assist anybody, or I did not get to assist anybody. I did approach a lot of photographers, but सबने मना कर दिया, तो मैं किसी को assist नहीं कर पाया. I learned everything on my own, and in fact, when I started, I'm talking about 2010. At that point of time, there was not much, or I think no information at all was available online on YouTube or online workshops and things like that. And my background was that I had done my engineering and I was doing a job with an IT company. I left my job and moved into photography. Right? So at that point of time, I had no exposure of commercial photography, कि इसमें business कैसे होता है, कैसे पैसा बनाते हैं, क्या होता है commercial photography. I had no idea. All I knew was that I was really passionate about photography and I wanted to do something in photography, right? So मेरे केस में ये हुआ. And another thing that happened with me was that after leaving my IT job, I wanted to do something in the creative field. So I thought that if not photography, I might also end up doing something in the design field. So I applied for NID, UX design, and I did clear the exam. I cleared the interview, but I did not join NID in the end. Um, that's a different story, but I mean, I did not basically wanted to at that point of time wanted to uh, you know waste 2 more years of my life studying design and then end up taking up photography, right? So, and other interesting thing that happened during that NID interview, as if you would know, that NID also has a photography course in Ahmedabad, which is a very well-known institute for learning photography. And during my interview for UX design, they asked me. I mean, I showed them my photography portfolio to them. My product photography portfolio, and they said that you are really good at photography. Why don't you pursue photography course in NID instead of UX design? And my answer was pretty clear, and it was no, because I at that point of time I did not want to waste my parents' hard-earned money in a photography school, because uh, unlike an engineering college where at the end of your studies you are assured of campus placement. I mean, at least if you do it from a reputed college. In a photography school, there is no such assurance. So even if you finish your photography studies, your photography course in a school, you won't be getting any job or a business success guarantee, right? So ultimately, you have to do it on your own, and I did not want to take that chance at that particular point of time, right? So in my case, I learned everything on my own, more so by experimenting on my own. मैं मतलब सुबह शाम मेरे को मतलब I had that fire in me that I wanted to learn the art of lighting. How can I make a product look beautiful, heroic, and larger than life? How can I have this beautiful lighting on the product that I used to see on other photographers' work? So I used to study other photographers' work, और मैं देखता था कि अगर ये इन्होंने इसको लाइट किया है तो किस तरह से किया होगा, मे बी व्हाट काइंड ऑफ लाइटिंग दे माइट हैव यूज्ड, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ इक्विपमेंट दे माइट हैव यूज्ड. सो आई एक्सपेरिमेंटेड एवरीथिंग ऑन माय ओन एंड लर्नड इट दिस वे. Now the advantage of doing it this way was that I really understood lighting very well. because I was, sort of reverse engineering all the photos that I was seeing online, right? So मैंने इससे बहुत कुछ सीखा अपने आप एक्सपेरिमेंट करके. बट आज की डेट में बहुत इंफॉर्मेशन अवेलेबल है, सो यू कैन लर्न अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स ऑनलाइन, especially on YouTube and on online workshops. In fact, if you are following my channel on YouTube and my Instagram, I keep sharing, behind the scenes from my commercial shoots, from my personal projects, and a lot of information regarding commercial product photography. So you can learn a lot from there as well, right? Now, let's come on to the second part, which is managing your finances as a commercial photographer. Now, in my experience, I have seen there are two possibilities. First is that, let's say you are fortunate enough to have financial freedom, in the sense you have family support and you don't have to think about your expenses, your rents, groceries, you don't have those sorts of responsibilities. Then you can definitely start building up your photography business on top of that, right? The second possibility is where, of course, you have to think about all your expenses, which is the case with most of us. Where you have to take care of your rents, your expenditure, your groceries, your responsibilities, and things like that. So in this case, I would highly recommend that once you start getting this, commercial work, start doing your savings simultaneously. Because what happens is that, of course, the first couple of years are going to be tough. You need to have a lot of patience. But once you start getting commercial work, once you start doing these ad campaigns or digital campaigns, you will end up making a lot of money in a very short amount of time. So let's say you make good money in the first 3 months, but then you might not have work for the next couple of months, right? Even if you're getting regular work from brands. So what happens is, like in my case, when I say regular work, it doesn't mean that on the first of every month you will get your payment. Regular work is that for, let's say, consecutive couple of months, you will have good amount of work from a brand, and but then you might not have work for the the remaining year or so. So in this case, it is very important, and I highly recommend that you start planning your investments wisely. Once you start making money, start investing it. You decide whatever you want to do. There is enough information available online on handling and managing your finances. But the idea here is to generate a second stream of income, so that you are not solely dependent on your commercial work, right? Your commercial photography, right? So what I'm trying to say here is that, for instance, I mean, you have your investments in terms of your mutual funds or FDs and stocks and shares, or you invest in your in a residential property or a commercial property, from where you can get rental incomes on a monthly basis, so that you are not just waiting for your next commercial project to be able to pay your bills, right? So doing this will give you financial freedom, so that you can focus on the kind of work you want to do, right? But of course, I mean, it will take some time. So first couple of years are going to be tough, but at the same time, I'm telling you that it's going to be a very, very rewarding journey as well, right? Now, let's move on to the last part, which is, where is the biggest opportunity right now when it comes to commercial photography, right? And इससे पहले हम एक बात और समझ लेते हैं that before social media, a couple of years back, जब ये Instagram, Facebook नहीं था, तो उस टाइम क्या होता था कि जो ब्रांड्स हैं, लेट्स से ब्रांड हैज़ अ बजट ऑफ 1 crore फॉर अ ईयर फॉर एडवर्टाइजिंग, एंड in those times a brand used to do 2 to 3 campaigns a year. So वो जो 1 crore का बजट था, that was split into 2 to 3 campaigns. So every single ad campaign had a good amount of budget for the shoot. But right now what is happening is that वो जो कहते हैं ना, FOMO. So because of the fear of missing out, every brand wants to create content on a regular basis. और अब क्या है कि products भी बहुत ज़्यादा आ रहे हैं, right? Every month brands are adding new products to the range of cosmetic lines or beverages or drinks or whatever it is. Even in terms of when it comes to these mobile phones or cameras, you will see that these um every year they will come up with a new phone. Every year the camera brands will come up with a new camera. Similarly, the cosmetic brands are coming up with new products almost every month, right? So because of that, the amount of content that they need has shot up, and the same budget is now split into various social media campaigns and digital content as well, right? So वही 1 करोड़ का जो बजट था अब वो split हो गया है, right? So the biggest opportunity right now is in creating content for social media, right? Because the demand is huge, and if you can create a system, and organize your business around creating digital content for social media, you will have a huge opportunity. Of course, I mean, the big ad campaigns are still there and will always be there, but the competition is very very stiff. If you are willing to shoot for the very the big ad campaigns, the global campaigns, national campaigns, there the competition is very stiff, right? And the assurance of getting repeat business is very low, right? Whereas when you create content or digital content for social media, there the opportunity is huge, the assurance of getting repeat business is high, and you can make really good income out of that as well, right? So, if you're starting in 2025, also try and make use and take advantage of AI, right? I know AI पे बहुत discussion चल रहा है online that with AI all the photography jobs will end and this and that. But in my opinion, photography jobs will be there, but the way we work will definitely change, right? So start taking AI to your advantage, right? Use AI to enhance your workflow, to make it more efficient, make it more cost effective for the client, and build your business on top of that, right? So start including AI, start thinking of the possibilities you can create, the kind of problems you can solve for the brands, and build a business on that, right? Right, so that's my take on commercial photography. And if you have any questions or concerns regarding commercial photography, do drop your questions in the comments. Feel free, and I'll get back to each one of you. And I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.